know what it feels like to be lonely, lost, and depressed, and overall feel like you're worthless. And whenever I feel like my personal mental health is getting drained, it's always because I'm not sticking to my daily routine. Imagine waking up every single day feeling unstoppable. Is this even possible in today's world? With the rise of the mental health crisis, more people than ever are committing suicide. And we just continue to prescribe these people more drugs instead of giving them the medicine that's actually going to make them feel better. The human mind can play tricks on us. Most people who are struggling think and feel like it's impossible to find happiness and success. And I used to feel the exact same way, hopeless. And that was until I found my own medicine. And whenever I feel like my mental health starts slipping, I make sure to get myself a big old bottle of what I'm going to be prescribing to you today. And if you're someone that wants to stop hitting the snooze button 4 times a day when you go to wake up in the morning, dreading the day ahead of you, to feeling unstoppable, I'm going to show you how you can do that. And I'm following up this video from my previous YouTube video on how to change your life in 3 months. I want to give people a structured routine that's going to make sure that they find happiness and success in their lives. Step number 1 is we need to find the environment that your body and mind performs the best in. I can already tell what people are saying in their mind. I thought this was a video on your daily routine that you personally do. And you're going to start listing out what time you get up, what activities you do at 5 a.m. But let me explain how important your personal environment is for your daily routine. I guarantee all the people that are watching this video right now have seen on YouTube all those motivational videos that are saying that you need to be an absolute badass in order to find success and become happy. And from my perspective, what's actually going to make you happy and successful is what first puts your body and mind in the most optimal state in order for you to perform. And this is where 90% of people setting up their daily routine are going to get this wrong. And even me, I've personally made this mistake many times when structuring my day. They think they need to get up at 4 a.m. every single day of the week and start doing this crazy routine in order to achieve success. Yes, you're going to have to push yourself and do things that are uncomfortable, but setting up your environment is crucial. If you're someone that is a night hawk, it does not make sense for you to be pushing against that resistance of what your body naturally enjoys and forcing you to get up at a crazy hour. For example, Tim Ferriss, an ultra successful entrepreneur, he does all his creative work and his writing late at night, usually starting around 9 p.m. and going late into the night and early morning, dedicating focused periods of time on when he can do this creative work. And that's what's the optimal state and optimal environment for his body. And then he does end up waking up later in the day, but if you look at him, he still is massively successful and he's doing what works best for him. I'm going to give you another example how I personally have done this wrong. Before, when I was working as a tradesman, I used to get up at 4 a.m. every single day. And it was really easy because I was able to work out, I was doing my studying, I would read, I would hammer out all these activities before I'd go into work and punch the clock. Then I would come home, I would eat, do some more studying, and go to bed. And this was a very easy routine in order for me to repeat. I definitely am naturally someone that likes waking up early and feel I'm in the most optimal state in those early periods of time. Now, when I transitioned to running my own business, I was still pushing myself waking up at 4 a.m. But my day had dramatically changed where I wasn't getting enough sleep and I started to see my health decline. When you're not getting enough sleep and you can see your mental health start decline, that is when your performance is going to start going down. But I wanted to be like David Goggins. I ain't quitting. I'm never giving up. I'm pushing myself, even though this is extremely hard and I'm fighting it every step of the way. Well, then I ended up going to the hospital a few times because I was complaining of chest pain, thinking I was having a heart attack when really my anxiety had just came back and was crippling me again. Here's what I realized. So before, when I was working my tradesman's job, I literally had zero stress in my day-to-day life. I was able to sleep less and push myself harder in learning and push myself harder in the gym. Now running my own business, I have so many different problems that I'm having to fix on the daily, and my daily routine has to be flexible because things change from day to day. I have a lot more concentrated effort where I'm putting a lot of mental effort into solving these problems, which means that I'm going to need more sleep than what I needed before in order for my body and mind to properly recover. And I had to change what my new routine was to fit the new schedule of me being a business owner. So step number 1 is find out what environment you work the best in terms of doing creative work. Is that late at night? Are you an early riser? And really hone in on how much sleep you need for your daily routine. As you can see, I'm not going to be listing out step by step what you need to personally do at certain hours of the day. You're going to have to discover what's going to work best for you, but I'm just going to share what I've personally found be the most successful and set me up to being a successful business owner. Remember, this is your medicine. You get to decide what it needs to be in order for you to be in the most optimal state for you to perform. Step number 2 is we need to find what relaxes you. This is another personal thing that I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree with me on. They think traveling and going and doing all these activities is going to be relaxing. For me, that stuff does not relax me at all. And you need to find a way to recharge your batteries on the daily. Don't be putting off relaxing and recharging your batteries until you go on a vacation or go on a trip. And people just think they need a vacation in order to do that. I'm sure everyone who's watching this probably can agree that going to airports, checking into hotels, driving on highways that you've never been on before isn't very relaxing. For me, this is reading, watching TV, or just literally doing nothing. And I set time each and every single day to do one of these things in order for me to relax and recover. For me, I used to be super hardcore where I was reading 4 to 5 hours every single day, and I was literally thought TV was the biggest waste of time ever, that I wouldn't even bother watching it at all. But now in my newer environment, one of the things that used to relax me the most was actually starting to stress me out. Now running my own business, when I used to read before bed, I would get a million different ideas and plans on what I can do to potentially achieve my goals. How can I have more success in my business? And this was doing the opposite of relaxing me. This was actually firing me up and causing me not to sleep. So after working 12 to 14 hours in my business every single day, then before bed reading all these books, it was like I was still working in my business, not actually relaxing and trying to set myself up to get a good night's sleep. So now what I do is I just literally watch TV or listen to something on YouTube that's completely different than learning about business or learning something that's going to help improve me. Where I've now made changes is I do watch TV before bed instead of reading or listen to a YouTube video, but it can't be about business or anything that's going to be thought-provoking for me where I'm not able to relax and go to sleep. So each day, be very selfish and do something for yourself that actually recharge your batteries. This can be meditation, it can be reading, it can be walking. It can be spending time by yourself, spending time with the ones you love, playing a sport, playing video games, whatever it may be that actually relaxes you and you feel like you've recharged. That's what you need to be doing each and every single day. Step number 3 is find the right fitness routine for you. Once again, I made this a massive mistake starting my entrepreneur journey in the way that I worked out. And I was still doing this like powerlifting routine when I started my business. This workout isn't very taxing on my body. I never felt like my muscles were getting extremely sore, but lifting extremely heavy weights is very taxing on your nervous system. Where I found I was having to do a lot of mental concentration and focus work and creative work, it was getting to become very difficult to focus in the afternoons. Where before, when I was a tradesman and I was just doing physical labor, doing these lifting extremely heavy was very easy for my whole entire body and mind to progress throughout the day because I was doing physical labor throughout. And then I made this mistake in the complete opposite way, is when I decided I wanted to run a marathon. So running 30 kilometers a day was making me dead tired. I'm also a pretty big dude, so going from never running more than 10 kilometers to now trying to run a marathon in the next 3 months seemed like a very difficult goal, certainly not impossible, but something that was going to be very challenging. But the question being, does setting up this new goal of becoming a marathon runner really make sense if I'm already working 14 hours a day trying to build my business? Which now training for this adds an extra 3 hours a day in terms of running, recovery, prepping in order to do that, where before I only wanted to work out around 45 minutes a day. And you can guess this started to drop my performance and I just really ended up hating it. But because I was hard, like David Goggins, I had set my mind to doing this marathon. I was not giving up. I was sticking with it, even though it was affecting my business. But the worst part is it was starting to piss me off because I would train in the mornings and I just feel like I was behind the whole entire day because I was getting to everything later. And running this much made me dead tired. So the lessons here is you do need to be able to push yourself physically, but for me, fitness is like priority number 8 on my list. Building my business is up there as the top priorities of what I'm trying to focus on. So really my goal is this: I want to have enough energy so I can maximize the focus time of what I'm working on in my business every single day and stay in decent shape so that I'm still healthy. So thinking that I need to be the strongest, the best in shape entrepreneur is really just setting myself up for failure when it isn't even in the top 5 of my priorities. And that's what I'm saying. This ultra hardcore, every single aspect of what you do in your life is honestly just a trap. And I've fell for that trap many single times. I'm one of the most consistent, hardworking people that I know. And thinking that I have to be hardcore in every single aspect of my life has literally caused my mental health to decline and my business to slip. So for me now, what I do is I lift weights a couple times a week and I do cardio a couple times a week. I'm in there in 45 minutes and I'm out. And this maximizes the amount of energy that I'm looking to get each and every single day. So you need to find a workout routine that's going to set you up for success on what you're trying to achieve. Step number 4 is we need to modify and change this. You're not going to be able to figure out what works the best for you right off the bat. Just like I said, me sticking to some of my old routines like waking up extremely early, reading before bed, and lifting really heavy set myself up to failure when I transitioned into becoming a business owner and starting my business and now running it. So that's why it's very important for people to understand is I'm not going to be listing the things that you need to do every single day. I'm just giving you the top 4 things that you need to try, and I know this is what's going to cause you to have success and find happiness. And it's very important that you don't interpret what I'm saying of not being extremely hardcore as giving you a cue to start being lazy and not being committed to things. I don't want you to start making excuses and just start giving up on things that you're going after. The fact of the matter is you really don't have to be as hardcore as David Goggins or Jocko Willink, all these people that we admire and we read their books that are great for us getting psyched up. But the lives they live are very different than what you and me are trying to achieve. And one thing that I did this year that was absolute groundbreaking is I broke my year up into different cycles. So for me, the spring and summer becomes extremely busy, where I'm going to be working even more than what I am currently. So what did I do this year? I set myself up for success by sleeping more the last 3 months, getting more rest, waking up later, and pushing myself a little bit harder working out in the gym. So now when I transition to the next 6 months of extreme work focus, I've rested my body and I've pushed myself in other areas. This gives me a lot of motivation when I switch and transition into the very busy period of time in my life. I feel like this really helped me with the seasonal blues. I would typically get the winter blues where you naturally lose motivation, but now setting up my year in different periods where I focus harder on certain aspects of my life and my business in different segments of the year, I felt like the winter, I didn't get winter blues at all. That I was extremely focused, I was preparing, I was sleeping more, I was pushing myself in other areas that gave me some new inspiration. I always will maintain my discipline and make sure I get done everything that's supposed to in the day. But this really helped me, and instead of all of a sudden I come into the busy season, I'm almost very tired, getting a little bit lethargic, feeling like, oh shit, it's another busy spring and summer for me. I'm more energized than I was the last previous years, which is very good to know that this is an effective way to break up your year in different periods. So as you're going and setting up your daily routine, be open to change and modify this for seasonality throughout the year. And don't be afraid to modify your daily routine for seasonality throughout the year and focus on different aspects of your life at different stages in your year. This is really going to set you up for success in finding happiness. Remember, this is your medicine. It's up for you to take it and make it work for you. And if you're struggling to achieve happiness and success, this is the medicine that's going to help you get on the right track. And if you learned something from this video and you feel like I helped you in some way set your life up for the better, all I ask is you hit that subscribe button. And would love to hear in the comments down below how other people set themselves up for success and what they do to find happiness. If you're someone that's searching for help on changing your life for the better, you're going to want to watch this video next here on the screen.